Greetings and welcome to the World Numismatic News as we now take a look at the top 10 variety coins from the 1930s that you can look for. First in line is a Lincoln penny from the year 1934, with a very distinctive and interesting doubled obverse variety that honestly is a bit of a sleeper coin if you ask me. It's largely flown under the radar, but has grown in popularity over the last number of years. On this coin, you want to pay attention to the area immediately underneath the date, where an impression of the tail of the 9 and the rounding of the number 3 can be spotted. The offset seems to have been noticeable enough that the pressman caught it early on before applying full pressure, allowing him to realign for the final hubbing. In 2023, a PCGS graded example of this sleeper variety coin was sold at auction as MS64 Red Brown for $288. Second in line for this decade is another Lincoln cent coin, but this time the second of 3 well-known doubled obverse varieties for 1936. On this coin, the doubling is extremely strong on all of the numbers of the date, the result of pivoted hub doubling. In this case, which caused doubling largely towards the southwest of the numbers. The 9 is doubled primarily towards the top, while the rest of the numbers display their doubling largely towards the bottom left of the numbers. A key identifying feature for this variety is the fact that the first hubbing took place with a defect on the R of Liberty, where you now get an infamous broken leg R, where the left leg of the R is clearly incomplete at the bottom. In 2023, a PCGS graded MS66 red example of this coin was sold at auction for the sum of $2,400. Now, as we work our way through the various varieties for the 1930s, it is hard to ignore some of the most prominent varieties for the Washington quarter coin. These are the light, medium, and heavy motto types for the 1934 quarter, the only year in which all 3 obverse types are used. The light motto type was the same design used in the coins of 1932, hence it is also referred to as the type of 1932 obverse, where the motto of "In God We Trust" is extremely light or faint on the coin. The center tip of the W is also lower than the 2 outer points. The medium motto, which is also known as the type of 1935, used the same typeset as the light motto's type, but here the relief has been clearly enhanced, retaining the overall thin letters of the 1932 or the light motto type, along with the center tip of the W being lower than the outer 2 points. Then there is the heavy motto coins, also called the type of 1936 obverse, which is completely different. The letters are all heavy set or thicker, with this time the center tip of the W being higher than the other 2 upper points of that same letter. So looking at the auction results, the light motto coin saw a PCGS graded MS67 Plus example that was sold in 2024 for $3,000, while in the same year a medium motto 1934 quarter graded as PCGS MS68 was sold for $5,520, and in 2025, a heavy motto coin graded as MS67 Plus by PCGS was sold at auction for $4,680. And emerging from that, we might as well stay with the 1934 quarter dollar coin for a while longer still, but this time we are instead looking for a beautiful doubled obverse variety. The coin is always found on the medium motto type. Look towards the motto to see the strong doubling here, the result of a clockwise rotation between hubbings. The result is that the doubling displays beautifully towards the southeast on every every single letter of the motto. Now, the date and the letters of liberty are also doubled, to be sure, but the effect is without a doubt the most eye-catching on the motto of the coin. In 2023, a PCGS-graded MS-66 example of the coin was sold at auction for the sum of $7,800. Shifting our attention then to the end of the decade instead for a while, we find the 1939 doubled Monticello Jefferson nickel, as it is commonly referred to. This coin is a strong doubled reverse variety that can be spotted with the naked eye. As its popular sobriquet suggests, the doubling is most noticeable on the letters of Monticello, on the lower third of the reverse design, with every letter clearly doubled towards the right. Not to be left out of the conversation, the letters of 5 cents are all also doubled very strongly in the same orientation. And as with the letters of Monticello, the letters on the right half of the coin are doubled slightly more aggressively. During 2022, a PCGS graded coin slabbed as MS-67 with full steps was sold at auction for no less than $10,616. If we then move back just a single calendar year, we find the only year in the Buffalo Nickel series that was to produce an over mint mark variety, and a spectacular one at that it is too. This is the 1938 D over S coin, or if you want to get a little more specific, then the D over D over D over S variety. But the primary attracting feature of the coin is the very clearly discernible underlying S mint mark that can be detected both towards the top of the final D mint mark as well as inside the cavity of that letter as well. And then, yes, on a nice example of the coin, you can also see the additional 2 underlying mint mark impressions slightly towards the south of the final D. In 2025, a PCGS graded MS-68 example of this variety with some light radiant toning was sold at auction for the amount of $11,100. Returning to the Washington Quarter series next, we have a spectacular doubled obverse example from the series to find in 1937. This Red Book listed variety is considered one of the most sought after coins in the Washington series, the result of tilted hub doubling. There is strong doubling on the letters of In God We Trust, where every letter is doubled towards the southeast, or to the bottom right, to put it another way. There is also strong doubling that can be seen on the date, where the numbers are primarily doubled towards the top right. A stunning example of this variety coin was sold at auction in 2020, housed in a PCGS slab with a grade of MS-66 for the price of $22,250. One of the most challenging variety coins to locate in the Buffalo Nickel series is the 1935 doubled reverse coin. The variety shows doubling on most of the reverse design and is the result of strong pivoted hub doubling. Probably the best place to notice it would be on the letters of 5 cents, where you can see both strong notching as well as separation lines on most letters of the denomination. Further doubling is then also clearly visible on the letters of E pluribus unum, where the doubling displays in a generally southeasterly direction. And as if that wasn't quite enough, the letters of United are then also doubled, again with a fairly strong spread on the affected letters. In 2023, this coin, graded as PCGS MS-65, was sold at auction, where it managed to raise a total of $38,400. And then the final Lincoln cent that I'll mention for the 1930s is once again a coin from 1936, but not the same variety that we have already looked at before. This is the strongest of the known doubled obverse coins for this date. And in this case, we are looking at the result of offset hub doubling instead. As a result, all of the considerable doubling on this coin displays towards the northeast, or towards the top right, if you will. Naturally, we can start at the date which sees incredible doubling across the board in the manner just described. Next are the letters of Liberty, where you should be able to see strong doubling, including separation lines as well as notching towards the top left and bottom right corners of the letters. The Y and T are especially good examples of this. And of course, there is no denying that the letters of In God We Trust probably display the best doubling on this amazing coin. There is simply no ambiguity or doubting it whatsoever. Every letter is doubled to spectacular effect. In 2025, a coin like this, graded by PCGS as MS67 Red, was sold at auction for the sum of $48,000. And then for the top variety coin from the 1930s, and well, there really was only one choice when it comes to this, and that coin is the 1937D three-legged buffalo nickel. It simply has it all. It's a rare but extremely popular coin with a great story and fantastic market appeal. Legend holds it that the reverse die used to strike this coin was abraded at the mint to try and remove clash marks, but in the process, a portion of the bison's frontmost leg was then also removed, giving us the famous three-legged buffaloes. For this coin, we can point to a stunning example, graded as PCGS MS66 Plus, that was sold at auction in 2020 for the total sum of $72,000. Subscribe to WNN and feel free to watch another video about the top variety coins from the 1940s right here next. For the World Numismatic News, I am Numisman saying thank you for watching, keep collecting, and have a fantastic day.